Welcome everyone to class. It's good to see you all. I hope you all had a enjoyable weekend. I hope your family or friends or anybody that you know as a mom had an enjoyable weekend. So I just wanted to make you aware of a couple of things going on right now. It is crazy to believe, but we have about 1 month of school left. Our last day here at Central Monco is supposed to be Monday, June 14th, I believe. So that's about a month and like 2 days. So that being said, time is quickly counting down. And one other thing is your mid-mark grades for the fourth marking period are due this Friday. So I am definitely going to ask everybody watching this video, whether it be live or recorded, you really need to start digging in and getting your work done. I unfortunately have a couple of, some students with some poor grades that have not participated, have not been in. I really, at this point, not really sure what they're going to try and do to save their grade, but it's never too late. So please contact me. I will be sending out notices this week in advance of the mid-mark grades that are going to be going out. So please go into your Schoology and go and click on grades, and it'll show you all the projects that you should have completed. Okay, just go in there, find some easy things, some of the less complicated stuff, and get it done. Because I will honestly tell you, if you fail here, they're probably not going to let you come back next year. And they're probably not, the same thing with your sending school. Jordan, please stop having fun, because I know I'm not that entertaining where you're constantly smiling. Jordan's ignoring me. You ignore me, Jordan?
No,
I can obviously see that you're watching something off the screen. Is that true?
I actually just got a text message. I got a text from my friend. I'm telling him to text me later.
Thank you. Okay. So I'm just, no interruptions. I'll get through this nice and quick. So please make sure you get done as much work as you can get done. There's no reason to sit there and let it all pile up until the end of this, market period, and then you're struggling. So please don't. So if you have any questions, comments, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? What projects do I have to get done? What are the most important ones? Please let me know. Stop by during office hours, or just pop in during class right now. So I have not gone and done grades yet. I am doing grades tomorrow for everything that's been submitted for the last 8 days. You should have submitted your Dreamscape image. Okay. If you have not done that, that is a significant project. And if you don't hand it in, it's gonna literally drop you down a letter grade. So please make sure you're doing the daily discussions, you're doing the exploratory. What's the most recent exploratory we're supposed to be working on, other than Deshauna and Steve?
You knew I was going to answer too.
I knew you were, because you already did it. Josh, do you know what it is?
Really had to
The
do it.
green,
Yes.
green.
Josh, you made my day, buddy. So yes, it's the color green. Easy stuff. Go shoot something green. Get your exploratories done, get that done, and I'm going to show you today's new project. So without any further ado, I will share my screen with you. It's hot off the press, and it's pretty cool. It's it basically ties together a few different projects. And the funny thing too that I would like to add, for the students that really haven't done a lot of these bigger projects, and you've just been doing the the daily discussions and the exploratories, and you've been skipping over the big projects, you're getting no credit. You're failing for it this year because you're not doing them. And guess what? You got to do them over again next year if you don't. So when other students are doing new projects, you're going to be doing the stuff that you should have done this year. So I just want to put that little bit of a disclaimer. So jumping over to, let me put down something here for participants. See who's all here. All right. Everybody jumps in. Okay. Marking period 4. We're doing a product poster. Now, this is similar to something we were doing with the marketing campaign for the Safe to Say, but there were quite a few students that did not do this project, did not make the poster for that project. So what I'm trying to do is I want to tie in the photography that we've learned, composition, framing, rule of thirds, symmetry, all those fun terms that we've learned over the marking periods, and you're going to make a poster for it. So what you're going to do is, and honestly, to this day, they've been making them for hundreds, if not thousands of years, and they still make them today, posters. You can find posters everywhere, doctor's office, a school, movie theater, or a light post down at the bottom of the street, doesn't matter. Whether there's a yard sale, a major multi-million-dollar motion picture, or a billion-dollar shoe company, they all use posters, okay? So posters are also very accessible for youngsters like yourselves. So maybe you don't have a lot of money, you don't have to make banners and do all kinds of crazy stuff. You can always make a poster. Posters are easy. It's one piece of paper. And it's a great way to get your product or your initiative across to other people, relatively quickly. Especially in the music industry back in the day, people ran around putting posters on walls. My band's playing, pick up my my EP, and make me rich and a famous rap star. So what I thought is you can take a look around your house and see what do you want to do. And I've laid out this page, so there's a fairly decent amount of information on here that I really like for you to look at. So you're going to do two things, really. You're doing product advertisement photography. Now, whether you've ever done this before or not, you're going to do it now, and it's relatively simple to do. All you need to do is buy a product that's in excellent condition or new condition. You could go to the store and, like Josh, could go buy those little Reese's cups and do a product photography shot on it. And as you can see here, really, a lot of people, food bloggers, Instagram, they use their smartphones. So you don't need a big fancy camera, for example, like this, to go and do an amazing product shot. If you have a really nice camera laying around, please feel free to use it, or any other type of camera. So the essential, I have this laid out with the tips for, taking really good portrait photos, product photos. And then I even have a great little manual, professional photography, shooting products. This actually comes out of like the e-commerce industry, selling everything, because really everything is online. But there's some really good, here's the chapters, tips and tricks, a step-by-step guide to high quality product images shot with your smartphone. Zoom in a little bit. And you'll see, there's some really good stuff in here on, how to look at a product, where are these products going to end up, how are you going to save them, what is your workflow? Workflow is something that we're going to talk about next year. How you open your files, save your files, your folders, your hard drive, so you can then hand it off to other people within your organization or the companies that are printing or publishing your work, okay? But there's a lot of great stuff in here, okay? So please, when you get a chance, check it out. It even shows you how
This is the new project, right?
Yes, ma'am. So you're basically, can look in here and it shows you how to set up your lighting. Now, you don't have to have a fancy tripod. You don't have to have fancy lights. You can have a desk lamp. You can have a flashlight. It really depends on what it is that you're trying to do. What it all really kind of begins, obviously, with the product. What's the product? Is it going to be food? Is it going to be clothing? Is it going to be electronics? Is it going to be some sort of a collectible? I don't know. Sports equipment. And then that would kind of dictate your lighting. So if you're doing food lighting, you don't light food dark. You want it to be bright, vibrant, crisp, so you can see, all of the good parts of that meal. So it makes you say, oh man, I want to eat that. So take a look at this manual. And then right here, we jump to the essential things that you should consider when you make a poster. So it's broken down, essential things to consider when doing product photography, and then the poster. And some really things you want to follow, like you should be able to read a poster from a distance. You want to be able to create some contrast with it. Type, I can't tell you how important type is. The type that you use in your design is as equally as important as the image. Because if you can't read it, or it's not drawing people's attention, then what's the point of making the poster in the first place? And you can see these posters, a lot of posters are not overdone. Sometimes less is more. You can put a few things in there. Use a big image. For example, the Gatorade bottle. You're selling Gatorade. So it should be the main point, the focal point. Remember, we talk about this stuff, focal point, foreground, middle ground, background, especially with photography. You know, where do you see posters a lot? Can anybody tell me when they think of posters, where do they think? Anybody? We were just talking about.
Park.
Dang it. Okay.
Say where?
A park, like. a
Okay.
playground.
A park or a playground. You know, please prevent forest fires. You know, organizations and events going on at that park. What else? Jordan, you were going to say something.
Stores like in on the walls, on the outside of buildings, and
Yep.
sometimes inside the store.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, go to Five Below. You know, they have posters in there. And we hit on a good point earlier, food. When you walk, I cannot think of one place where you go to eat where there's not a poster. Like Burger King, McDonald's, Qdoba, Chipotle. The menu is actually the poster, right? You see this giant poster with all this food with prices next to it. So they've actually found a way to integrate both. But the way posters are used is posters are generally used in food stores and clothing stores and electronic stores to highlight a particular product of that time that they want you to buy. Maybe it's Halloween candy because Halloween's coming. So there's a Halloween poster. Same thing with the new Air Jordans are out. Well, guess what? You're going to see a poster of the new Air Jordan. So posters are used to really highlight something they want you to buy or something they want you to know. Like there's a 10K, the Broad Street Run's coming. So there's going to be a poster that says Broad Street Run. It's going to have the date. There was another one I was thinking of that we hear about a lot. Where do you see a lot of posters of? And really, that sometimes helps you when you go there to pick out what you're going to see when you look at the poster.
Movie
I
theater?
guess
Yeah, no, absolutely movie theaters. What were you
I'm
gonna
sorry,
say,
Jordan, I
Jordan?
didn't see you talking.
No, go ahead. Were you gonna say the same thing or something different?
I was gonna say like food, like
Yeah.
McDonald's stuff.
Absolutely. So to follow up what we were just saying, food and movies. Like back in the day, and I hate that I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but when you went to the movies, they sometimes had movie trailers on TV, like small, but they didn't have trailers. They would just have a quick this thing on TV like coming this summer, Jaws the movie, and that's it. And you would see clips of the movie when the movie reviewers would be on TV. So we literally used to shop when we would go into the movie theater. That poster looks awesome. I'm going to go see that movie. Also, too, at record stores. What is an album? It's essentially a poster, right? So I would literally go into the record store and say, back when I was a headbanger, I listened to metal. I'm like, that's an awesome poster. The devil's in it, a motorcycle, fire, and swords. I gotta buy that album. So the album could stink, but there was some really good artwork around it. So that just kind of tells you how important it is. But at the same time, don't forget. And I'll go into this in much greater detail on Thursday, but I'm just trying to roll this out and plant the seed in your head right now on what that product's going to be. Please, please, please do not rush into this and grab any rando thing you have laying around your house. Okay. I also have this great poster design manual. Okay. How you make posters. It's not very long. It's 5 pages. It's got a lot of words in it, but there's some really good information here to guide you along on your journey. I put in these points to consider. So this is really what I want you to look at today. Okay. This is, I think, how I'm going to lay out my projects from now on, because I think it's a little more understandable and readable this way. But really, what is your idea for your poster and your product shop? So I'll go over all these with you because this is super duper important. Who is your client or your company that you're representing? If it's Nike, okay, do you know, what is it that you really know about Nike? Maybe you don't. What is it about Reese's? Did you know who makes Reese's? Do you know, Josh? Earth to Josh.
Hershey's?
So someone from Hershey Park, Hershey, not Hershey Park.
Yes,
Hershey.
so it's Hershey's, right? Do
Yeah.
you know what the #1 selling candy that Hershey's sells?
Hershey's? Wait, no. Twizzlers.
Nope.
Reese's.
It's
Reese's.
Kit Kats.
Nope, it's Reese's. So
Really?
Reese's used to be its own company, and then Hershey's bought them. But the #1 selling product that Hershey's distributes and sells and makes is Reese's Cups. Fun fact. There's a really good show on the History Channel called The Food That Built America. And I learned it from that show. They talk about when ice cream first started, or frozen foods, or canning foods and fast food. It's pretty cool. But that's how I learned about that, the whole Hershey empire and how all that started, and Mars Food Company and Reese's. It's pretty cool stuff. But who is your client? I cannot stress enough these first three. Who is your target audience? So if you're going to shoot candy, who are you selling it to? You could be selling it to adults. You could be selling sugar-free candy to diabetic kids or older people, or dark chocolate because it's healthier than regular. So maybe you're selling dark chocolate to athletes, or people that just want to be healthy and take care of themselves. So you have to really use your brain if you're doing ramen noodles. So who would you think your audience would be for ramen noodles? Take a guess.
Lonely adults.
There's one, but we could figure out technical terms for that, and we will. But go ahead. Who else?
Depressing adults.
Nah, I think we got to.
Weebs.
I think we need to be a little bit more positive, because if we're like, yo, nerd, eat this ramen in your mom's basement, I don't think they're gonna buy it. So how about gamers? How about college
Weebs.
kids?
Weebs.
Yes,
Kids who
exactly.
don't have lives.
Exactly. No, well, you know what? Ramen's a big deal. College, because it's quick and it's cheap. So you could literally be selling it to, you could have an idea where you have a bowl of ramen sitting next to a textbook or a laptop in a dorm room, and you're like, no, you're no longer at mom and dad's, and you don't know how to cook. Buy ramen. It's 12 cents a piece. So you would think about what's your call to action going to be on that poster. Why do you want someone to buy that product? Okay. So target audience is a really big deal. Obviously, if you're going to sell like football shoes, you're not going to sell it to elderly people in their 90s in wheelchairs. Okay. So think about, now, could you do something funny where you got your grandma to put a pair of Nikes on and look like she's dunking, because these shoes are so phenomenal, it'll literally draw elderly people out of wheelchairs and make them be able to dunk. So you can use humor, okay, but just be reasonable, okay, on how you're going to accomplish that. So this is the fourth part. What research have you done about the company? I can't tell you how important that is, okay? Do your research. Let's say you're shooting Reese's. So see what Twizzlers is doing. See what Snickers has. See what Kit Kats. Look at the advertisement. Look at your competitors. What are your competitors doing? What are they not doing? Maybe, let's say, for example, out of all the research you did, there's no bites taken out of any of the candy. You may not want to do that. Maybe there's a reason behind it. I don't know. Okay. But keep that stuff in mind. Here's another big thing. Where would you expect to see the advertisement? And we were just talking about that earlier. Movie theater, a store, supermarket, wherever. Okay. What size is your poster? I've already had that figured out. You're all going to do a 12 by 18 size poster. Okay. Nice, reasonably sized poster. But the thing is, we talk about is your poster should be scalable, which means you could make it bigger or smaller if you wanted to, because you do a high quality image. Okay. Moving on. Do we have questions at this point? If you do, just throw them into the chat so we can just keep going, and I will.
What do you expect to be on the poster? Like, how is it supposed to really look like?
So I have learned from what you've been asking, and I have some really good examples to show you. Okay. And Thursday, I'm going to show you some posters. So what kind of lighting are you going to use? Is it going to be indoors, outdoors? Do you need bright light? If you're shooting food, you need bright light. Is it going to be dark, moody, edgy light? Because it's this brand new pair of sneakers, that Steph Curry is promoting, and they're the black on black shoe, and you don't want to really light them really well. You want to make it look real contrasty. So that's the things you have to think of. What props do you need? Let's say you're going to shoot cereal, right? Don't use your SpongeBob bowl. Find a nice bowl, a clean spoon, a tablecloth, and a clean table. Think about the settings if you're going to do that. Is your background going to be white, colored, textured? Are you going to have a model inside or outside? What other objects are going to be in it? Okay. And then the last is your color scheme. If it's Skittles, does anybody know the saying for Skittles? What's their tagline?
Taste the rainbow.
Taste the rainbow. So obviously your color scheme is pretty wide open. You can use all the colors in a rainbow if you wanted to. Okay, so think about that too. So here's where the instructions come in. Okay, I won't go through all this with you right now, but I will on Thursday. But make sure you look at all that. And then here you go. So here's a combination of examples, Deshawn, of product photography and then the poster. So as you can see, posters have some very specific elements. Your main product, your main focus, your tagline, and then something about the product, where they can find it, or a date. Coming soon, the new Bose headphones coming out May 23rd. So it doesn't have to be you literally don't want a whole bunch of information on. Usually it's one sentence and the product. Now you can use Photoshop to paste, some fruit in front of it. You do not really want to alter the product with filters and such, because you're actually misrepresenting the product. And in some cases it's not legal. Okay. Like you couldn't photograph a chocolate chip cookie and Photoshop 30 more chocolate chips on it, make it look like this crazy cookie with a ton of chocolate chips, because you're misleading the buyer. Okay. So here's another one of just a product. And this product can be used as your poster. This is literally a poster, just without the text yet, without the type, just to show you, see how important it is to use the proper type. You don't want a lot of crazy cursive or hard to read fonts, like no graffiti fonts or anything. Nice, bold, easy to read. Okay, here's some more. This is really cool. They're promoting the new McDonald's app, and all they did was plug a thing in the back. And it's all about, I love a good ice cream cone. Here's a cool photograph of sunglasses. This is a mouse, and it highlights the best features of that mouse that you're trying to buy, or that you want your customer to buy. And you can use, this is okay to do a little bit of Photoshop effect, because the thing does light up and glow when you're using it. Okay. This is a really cool thing for beauty products. Go out front, find some leaves or something. Please do not, leaves of 3, leave them be. Do not pick poison ivy and do your photo shoot. But think about your background. It's very earthy, right? Because they're organically grown, earthy ingredients. Okay. Here's a nice one for pizza rolls. And they sell, and obviously this place sells Coca-Cola. They sell Coca-Cola products. If you go in for pizza rolls, well, you got to have soda. So that's how you double your marketing. And, the poster's like, yeah, I could see me eating that with that, and drinking a Coke. This is great. Once again, less is more. Really cool looking. And then there's the Gatorade we saw before. Everybody knows sports, right? That's your target audience, sports, athletes. Sure, everybody drinks Gatorade, but it's more geared towards those professional athletes. Not professional, but people that get out and exercise and do stuff. Here's a cool one, probably shot on a white background, and the background was Photoshopped in, and they did a cool reflection. There's nothing wrong with doing that at all. So you could totally do that. See this? Remember I talked about nice bright light, right? To really enhance those colors of the food. This is a really good font, really good type style. It has that loose kind of fun, organic feel to it. And there's a little bit of type, but it looks really good. I would love to eat that right now, but nicely lit and bright. It looks crisp. This is really cool. I would not expect many of you to be able to pull this off, but if as a senior maybe, or a second year student that's really into Photoshop and wants to go in that direction, you could do some pretty crazy stuff with your product. As you can see, the product has not been altered. They put a bunch of stuff around it, but it has not been altered. So this project is taking the stuff you did from the surreal portrait, if you wanted to, the Safe to Say poster design project, the photography project, the graphic. And that's why it's important to do every project, because they all tie in at the end to be able to pull off something awesome like this. Okay. So you can kind of get an idea of what it is. Here's a cool outdoor shot, but take your time and go through this stuff. There's a lot of really good examples that I pulled for you to look at. Okay. Also, if you don't have Photoshop, you can use Google. Okay. You can use Google Docs, Google Draw. You could still come up with something cool. You could even use PowerPoint if you wanted to, and just lay it out as a poster. And you can still drag in all your images in your type. Okay. And then last but not least, people, resources. how to do your own photos at home, DIY. Beginner mistakes with food photography. Okay. How to do, DIY photo photography tips and poster design tips. So if you really think about it, I will be making tutorials. So I found this cool graphic that I'm going to use, but I will, by Thursday, I will get a product. I will photograph it. I will show you, and I will show you how to do the poster. Okay. But this is how our projects are going to kind of be. What's that?
I wanted to ask you when the project is.
It's not going to be due till like the end of next week. Probably. I'm thinking the end of next week. At this point, I really believe we're only going to have this and maybe 2 other projects, and we're done. But
So
it is-
next week, Friday?
yeah, or like Sunday at midnight kind of thing. To be honest, I think that's a fair amount of time. I may put up another exploratory, and like I said, we'll probably have 2 or 3 more projects, and that's it. That's it for the year, which is crazy. But I cannot stress enough to all of you to please make sure you're getting this stuff done. Okay. As I said before, I know Diego just popped in a little while ago. How you doing, pal?
Very good. I was Lucas. All right.
Look, it's okay as long as you're jumping in, man. I mentioned earlier, mid-marks is this Friday. I'm sending grades out. Some kids and parents are not going to be very happy. So please make sure you're one of the happy kids by doing all your work. Do not hesitate to ask me if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. So what I want everybody to do is when I see Jordan, Deshauna, Steve, Diego, and Josh on Thursday, I want you to show me. You're going to go like this and say, here's the product I'm going to shoot, and here's the idea. Because then you'll have more than enough time to get your project done. Can we all kind of commit to do that, please? Okay.
Yo, Cheech.
Okay. So, go to Wawa, pick out food, or the supermarket. If there's anything, if you have a really good set of wireless earbuds and they're in really good condition, they're not chipped or cracked, you can use those. If you collect shoes, use a pair of shoes. Doesn't matter, but it has to be in really good condition. Now, you could do like a before and after of a really nasty beat up pair of shoes sitting next to the really nice brand new ones. Same thing with a plate full of crumbs and then the cookie next to it, like the cookie being sold, and then these cookies are so good they won't last long, blah, blah, blah. So you could do a couple different things. So that's what I have. It's a fun, reasonably simple to do project, but it does pull all those different things together that we've learned throughout the year. But I am putting it in your hands to find something reasonable and interesting for you to do for this project, okay? All righty. So I know I went a little bit long today, but usually when I do these big rollouts, I like to be as overly descriptive as possible to explain everything that you need to know for what's going on. Okay. So that's what I got. Questions, comments, concerns? Mr. McCarthy, once again, you've nailed it. You've hit it out of the park. I can't wait to do this. Right? Oh,
Thanks.
thank you. Thank you. All right, well, get going. Go outside. It's kind of a nice day, but if you need help or advice, please reach out to me. But if not, I look forward to seeing you all Thursday and what products you have. Please do not bail on class. I will cry if I'm the only one here. Okay. I will see you all. I will see you all on Thursday. It was great seeing you, everybody.